Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Greekosophy channel. My name is Tam and in today's episode it's all about Greek wine. It's only 2.5 months before Christmas arrives again, and by the looks of it, coronavirus is still going to be with us. So we're most probably going to have to enjoy our drinks indoors. So what a better way to introduce you to 10 of my very favorite Greek wines. Without further ado, let's begin. And obviously a word of warning, if you are not of a legal alcohol drinking age, you should not be watching this video, so press the stop button now, or at least tell your parents to come and watch it instead of you. This video is only for people that are of a legal drinking age. Many of you, when you hear the term Greek wine, your mind most probably goes straight to Retsina. And that is a very unfair comparison. You see, it's only within the last 20-30 years that Greek wines have taken over the world. Before that, I don't remember seeing any Greek wines, for example, in the UK wine stores. But in the past 20-30 years, the Greek winemakers have basically gathered pace. They have really produced some exceptional wines, and now Greek wines are emerging and are winning awards around the world. So it is only fair, with Christmas coming, for me to give you some clues and introduce you to 10 of my favorite Greek wines. I don't claim to be a wine connoisseur or a wine expert. I do enjoy drinking wine and good quality wine, and it's only the past 6-7 years that I actually started looking into Greek wine in more detail. So I cannot claim that I've tried hundreds and hundreds of Greek wines. I did try quite a few, and today's 10 wines are my personal favorites. Okay, now I have basically split those 10 wines into 3 whites, 3 reds, 2 rosés and 2 dessert wines. But if you keep on watching this video, at the end of the video I'm gonna also give you 2 bonus special wines, Greek wines as well, for you to try. So this video is going to introduce you to 12 Greek wines in total. As I said, I'm not a wine connoisseur, so my language abilities with regards to describing you the tastes, the flavors of the particular wines, or even the Greek grape variety of them is very limited. So what I've done is, on this video, I have used descriptions and wordings from the wine critics that have tried those wines, or the description given in the websites of the wine producers of those wines, or a very good website, Greek website. It's called Wines of Greece, and they have actually done a very good presentation of Greek grape varieties, and I have used some of those descriptions as well. Now, in this video, I'm going to provide you with a lot of information. So basically, apart from introducing you to the specific wine, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background to the winery or the estate or the domain that produced that wine, the history behind it. And also, I'm going to be introducing you to some of the Greek grape varieties of those wine bottles, just so you understand a little bit about the grapes involved. And if you like that particular bottle, then you can explore some other wines made from that grape variety. As I said, some of those wines have won worldwide awards, and the prices range, so I'm going to give you a bit of an idea on the prices. But more importantly as well, I'm going to give you some links as well as to where you can buy those wines, whether you are in the United Kingdom or in Europe in general, or in the US or around the world. I have managed to find places where they sell these wines, so if you look at the description part of this video, all the links are there. Now, a little bit of a disclosure here is that some of those links, in other words, some of those places where you can buy the wines, Greekosophy is an affiliate. That means that if you click on that particular link and buy the wine from that place, Greekosophy is going to be receiving a small commission. The disclosure is always by the link, so you know that if you click that link, the Greekosophy is going to get a commission. You don't have to click that link. We have provided other links as well of other stores, so it's up to you where you want to get your wine from. Nothing stops you from buying that wine from a particular website that you prefer, or a place where you might find it in better quality, better price, or faster delivery, or discounts available to you. But everything, if you look at the description part of this video, all the information is there, the websites of the wines, of the wineries, of the places where you can find the wines, and also of the places where we found and used all the photos that you see in this video, because we have taken none of these photos ourselves, so we have used photos from other websites, and we are disclosing where we found them in the description below. But I have already said enough. Let's start with our top 10. Okay, we start with the 3 white wines in the list. And the first one is my all-time favorite of every single white wine I've ever tried, not just Greek wines. And it's called Sigalas Santorini Assyrtiko. 3 words that most probably don't mean a lot to you, but for me are special on their own rights, and I will explain why. Sigalas is one of the most successful wine producers in Greece. They have won, the domain Sigalas has won numerous awards worldwide, and is my personal favorite wine producer. I have tried a lot of their wines, and I haven't found any yet that are not, good enough to drink, but most of them are really, really exceptional. On this particular one, domain Sigalas is based in the island of Santorini, hence the name Santorini as well, a beautiful island of Santorini. He's very passionate about wine producing, and he's not afraid to experiment with the various local grape varieties there. So Paris Sigalas, the owner and founder of the domain Sigalas, has actually cultivated and experimenting with various varieties of grapes, and some of them comes up with really, really good wines. And the last word, the third word, Assyrtiko, is actually the name of the grape variety. Now, Assyrtiko is a rare, classy white grape, possibly one of the greatest varieties found in the Mediterranean region. It originated from the island of Santorini, but it spread all over Greece, becoming, in terms of quality, one of the most important native varietals. It produces mainly dry white wines, some of which are being aged in oak. However, a number of sweet wines are made as well from the sun-dried grapes of Assyrtiko. It's one of these rare white grape varieties that can grow on hot and dry climatic conditions, while at the same time they keep the high alcohol in perfect balance by its crisp acidity. It's more of a textural variety, emphasizing extract, body and structure rather than an aromatic grape. In Santorini, the Assyrtiko makes lean, mineral and very concentrated whites. However, it has been planted to most Greek wine regions, from other Aegean islands all the way to the north to the Macedonia region of Greece, and down to the Peloponnese region as well. In these areas, Assyrtiko keeps the crispness and minerality, but it also shows a higher level of primary fruit aromas as well, and a less dense structure. And finally, the sweet Assyrtiko, like the Vinsanto wines, for example, is rich, sumptuous, piercing wine. Now, Assyrtiko is made for people looking for unconventional, intense styles of whites that lean towards texture and density. It offers sensations that are well away from the average, commercially appealing dry white. They're very food friendly, especially with grilled fish and seafood. All Assyrtiko wines, both barrel aged and stainless steel, matured, can age confidently for 5 or even 10 years, sometimes significantly more. The sweet Assyrtiko wines are eternal. Time simply resists going into them. So that's the information that I can give you on the Assyrtiko grape variety. For me, it's one of the best white grape varieties, not just Greek grape varieties in the world. This particular wine is exceptional. For lovers of dry white wines, this is a crispy, bone dry white. But it's amazing. We had it in the Greekosophy restaurant when we were operating, and a lot of people have come to actually try it with their food because they saw it on our wine list, and they have had good things about it, and they wanted to try it. Now, I haven't put the vintage year of this particular wine because most of its vintages have won either gold or silver awards in the Decanter Worldwide Awards. For example, the 2017 vintage won gold award. The 2018 won silver in the last Decanter Awards. Price-wise, you can find it for an average of about 30-35 pounds, sometimes even more. So it's not on the cheap side, but at the same time, it is an exceptional white wine. Now, the way that some of the critics describe it, and I'm just gonna read as I read on my screen, is as follows: a world-winning dry white wine, citrus, soft honeysuckle, smoke, gently salty and floral nose. There's real understated power and superb focus on the palate, with a kiss of oak, which is beautifully integrated. A wine of real breeding, showing its varietal character, but also demonstrating the quality of the terroir. Couldn't say it better myself. One other very unique thing as well is on the island of Santorini, because it is can get very windy. There is a specific way that they grow their vines. The technique is called kalathi or kalathaki, something like that, which means basket. And basically, they're twisting the vines around to protect the grapes on the inside. So if you see on the pictures there, they create a rounded sort of basket-like construction, and the grapes are protected from the winds. It's a very good way to protect the vines. The island of Santorini makes exceptional wines, and this is not the only wine from Santorini on today's list. The second white wine on our list is another award-winning one, Ktima Gerovasiliou Single Vineyard Malagousia 2018. It is a gold medal winner in the Decanter Worldwide Awards 2019. And there's a little bit of a history behind this particular wine between the winemaker, which is the Gerovasiliou estate, and Malagousia, which is the Greek grape variety. Now, this wine is made with 100% Malagousia. The estate is in the area of Epanomi, in the Macedonian region, Macedonia region of Greece, northern Greece. And basically, this particular wine variety was extinct, or virtually extinct, until a professor of enology, his name is Vasilis Logothetis, I'm reading the information here as well, rediscovered it in the area of Navpaktia. And presented it to one of its students. That student was called Vangelis Gerovasiliou back in the 1970s. Now, they took it to an estate called Porto Karas, a winery at the time, and they developed it, and Vangelis Gerovasiliou took it to his own estate later on, and developed it, and in fact became one of the most widely produced white grape varieties in Greece nowadays. So not only Vangelis Gerovasiliou, who is the owner of Ktima Gerovasiliou, in a sense saved that particular grape variety, but this particular wine has got a golden award and deserved it so because it's really good. But let me tell you a little bit more about Malagousia, the grape variety. It is the personification of the modern renaissance of the new wines of Greece. as witnessed in the last 20 years, as I was telling you at the start of the video. It is the example of the way Greek wine producers are rediscovering their potential. As I said, in the 1970s, Malagousia was a white variety known to very few and also thought to be extinct. Today, after painstaking work from university professors and top growers, Malagousia is widely considered a world-class grape, producing outstanding dry whites as well as a few dazzling sweet examples. Malagousia makes wines that are medium pale, lemon green in color, while the nose is very intense and highly expressive, showing hints of peaches, green bell pepper, basil and flowers. On the palate, it is round, full but always fresh, with moderately high levels of alcohol. Sweet versions are made with late harvest grapes, as they are even more dense and more aromatic. In general, oak aging flatters Malagousia, but many stainless steel versions are equally impressive. It is a grape believed to originate from the west part of central Greece, the Aetolo-Canania region, and known mainly for its use in the production of sweet wines. But modern-day planting resurfaced in the Chalkidiki region of Macedonia, in north of Greece, and there are currently numerous producers cultivating Malagousia in most vine-growing parts of Greece. That particular grape variety, Malagousia, is a hugely successful variety, widely acclaimed around the world. Its wines are a grand example of aromatic whites full of vibrancy and complexity. When dry, it can be an exquisite match to greens and salads. The sweet wines made by it are finely paired with fruit desserts. Surprisingly, dry Malagousia can age in the bottle for 4 years or more, while sweet wines need 4 to 7 years to unfold their potential and indeed keep well beyond that. So that is the description of the Malagousia grape variety. As I said, I have tried this particular one for maybe 5 or 6 times. I have tried other Malagousia wines, but this one is really exceptional. It is really go down very well, and it doesn't break the bank. You can find it, as I said, the links in the description below, for between 15 to 18 pounds. So even though it's a Golda winning white wine, the price is not really expensive. It will definitely suit perfectly on your Christmas list of wines, especially for people liking it white. And now a little bit of the description of the critics of that particular vintage. Ripe nose of peaches and pineapple, with sweet yams and an almost buttery richness. Peach and apricot flavors layered with honeysuckle and acacia, and a long saline finish. Excellent. They say it, not me. I say fantastic, brilliant, amazing, exceptional. Get it. Now, the third white on our list, I am making a little bit of an exception, purely because it's so good. And that exception is I wanted to make a list with wines that are made only with Greek grape varieties, no foreign varieties involved. However, I found it very difficult not to include this particular wine on my list, because when they first sent it to me to try it, to see if they wish me to serve it in the Greekosophy restaurant, I was a little bit, apprehensible because it included some non-Greek grape varieties. But I have to say that once I tried it, I kept a whole box to myself, and then put the rest in the menu. There has been a customer and there has been a friend that tried this particular wine, and it was not wow. So, which is that wine? It's Cavino Megaspileo Cuvée 3 White. Yes, quite a long list there, but it comes from the mountains of Achaia in the Peloponnese region. a region that makes really, really good wines. And it's a blend between Assyrtiko, which is the grape that I show you on the first white wine, with Malagousia, which is the grape that I said to you in the other, and Chardonnay. Okay, so it's a 60% Malagousia blend, 20% Assyrtiko, and 20% Chardonnay. How can I describe it? I will tell you how the critics described it, because in 2017 it won the Silver Award in the Berlin Wine Awards 2018. The 2017 vintage won the 2018 Berlin Wine Awards Silver Medal. And the critics describe it as follows. Its aroma is intensively fruity. White flowers, basil, white nectarine and coconut butter in the mouth. Nice complexity on the palate, long refreshing aftertaste. A bold, gorgeous white wine to accompany creamy cheese and poultry. All I can say, apart from the wow factor of this wine, is that it keeps you guessing with every sip that you take. It's for a white, it's very full-bodied initially, and then it gives you that a sort of idea that it's fizzy, it's sparkling, but it's not. Okay, so it sort of plays around with your tongue, with your throat. It gives you that fully-bodiedness that suddenly disappears, and then the aromas start kicking in, and then you have another sip, and then something different comes around, and it lasts on the glass. With every full sip, you discover something different about this wine. I cannot describe it any better. It is something that you really have to try. It's only around 11-12 pounds per bottle, so again, it's not going to break the bank. And I have put links on the description below as where you can find it. But all I would say is that it is very, very well made. Very well made. We now begin with the first of the red Greek wines on the list. And if there was an award ceremony to award the best wine bottle design in the world, I would say that Domaine Messenikoles would have definitely won a golden award. I present you Domaine Messenikoles' Messenikola Red, which is the wine that I am recommending you. And by looking at this bottle, you can definitely see class, uniqueness. It asks you to open it and drink the contents. And by looking at this photo as well, these are some of the other wines produced by Domaine Messenikoles. They really take time with the design of the bottles, and they create not only attractive bottles but very attractive wines as well. Now, this particular estate is based in the Thessaly region, central Greece, in the village of Messenikola. It is a very, very good story as well with regards to this estate and this wine. But let me first start with the actual Domaine Messenikoles. Okay, there is a story behind it. You see, according to this story, while Greece was still under the Ottoman occupation back in the 1800s, the Greeks moved around constantly in search of better living conditions. Among them was the Karamitros family, which finally settled near the Agrafa mountain range in the tiny village of Messenikoles. The family put down new roots and began to cultivate grapes, an occupation that would shape the life and history of the family for 4 generations and to the present day. In 1959 was perhaps one of the most important years in the history of Messenikoles and the region, because in that year the creation of an artificial lake in the area was completed. Lake Plastiras created a favorable microclimate in the region that turned out to be ideal for vine cultivation. Now, this particular grape variety, Messenikoles Black, Messenikoles Mavro, it's only produced in that particular area near the village of Messenikoles. You will not find it anywhere else in Greece, anywhere else in the world. And that is one of the reasons why I'm thoroughly recommending you to try this wine, because essentially it's a unique variety, not to find it very easily. So let me tell you a little bit more about the Messer Nicolas black grape variety. Few are the grape varieties privileged enough to be exclusively planted in one single area, and even fewer are those who are named after one particular person. Yet, such is indeed the case of Messer Nicolas Black, the red grape variety once planted near the breathtaking vista of Plastira Lake by Monsieur Nicolas, turned into Messer Nicola in Greek, a high-ranking Venetian official. Fewer than 100 hectares of land in the greater area of the village of Messer Nicola in Karditsa, central Greece, undertake to yield their harvest for those who wish to have a taste of this truly hard-to-find grape. Yet, the odds that wine lovers wishing to taste this wine on its own will be able to do so are very slim, since it is usually vinified together with the international Shiraz and Carignan varieties, so that it may yield the Messer Nicola reds. Nevertheless, some efforts are producing monovarietals from Messer Nicola Black have revealed the darkish color, intense red and black fruitiness, soft tannins and balanced mouth of the variety. And this is exactly that as well. This particular wine that I'm telling you, that I'm recommending, again, does not have only Messer Nicola Black in it. It has 70% Mavro Black Messer Nicola grape variety and 30% Shiraz and Carignan varieties. So again, it's an exception I made. No other wine that I'm going to be recommending you from now on will have other foreign varieties. They're only going to be Greek grape varieties. But I had to make this exception because this particular wine, not only because of the very unique and rare grape that is made of, but especially because it's so good, deserves to be in that list. And I think, I don't know if they still do it, but up to a point, Aegean Airlines were also serving that wine to their business class. I don't know if they still do it, but you never know. With regards now to the description of the wine, I will read again some of the critics. Okay, so this exquisite red wine, made from the ancient Greek variety Mavro Messer Nicola, harmoniously combined with the imposing French varieties Shiraz and Carignan, cultivated in selected vineyards located at the foot of Agrafa at an altitude of less than 700 meters. It has been categorized as appellation of origin of superior quality. It is very, very good. A velvety wine, rich in body and bouquet. The varietal composition, with only 30% Shiraz and Carignan, is enough to invade into the elegant characteristics of Mavro Messer Nicola, giving the wine its astonishing ruby color. Ruby, not ruby. Its full taste and bouquet of fruits of the forest will thrill you, while the interesting and long-lasting aftertaste will reward you for your choice. It is bottled in a limited number of bottles to ensure the best result, and before tasting this wine, the bottle should be left uncorked for at least 15 minutes in order to allow its aromatic characteristic to emerge. Wonderful with stews, roasted lamb, full-flavored cheeses and fruit, especially apple. And you can actually find it at a price of around £16. So again, a great red with not very expensive in your pocket. Now, I could not have recommended a Greek red without touching on the grape of Agorgitiko and the area of Nemea in Peloponnese. Agorgitiko and Nemea go hand in hand. I would say that those wines are very, very popular in Greece. A lot of Greeks really, drink them. They just say Nemea. And it would be unfair if I have left the top 10 without recommending one of them. Now, my personal favorite, which I have recently tried, is the one from Yea Estate. Yea Estate Ayurvedico Nemea 2016. As the name says, they're based in Nemea in the Peloponnese region. It's made with 100% Ayurvedico grapes, and it's a silver medal winner in the 2019 Decanter World Wine Awards. Now, Yea Estate is again one of the most popular and successful estates, wine estates in Greece. It has vineyards not only in the Peloponnese but also in Santorini, producing other varieties of Greek wine. But this specific one is really, really, really nice and full-bodied with a great color. Normally you will find it at about 33 to 35 pounds, so it is a bit of the expensive side, but it will not disappoint you. A little bit of information about the Ayurvedico grape. Ayurvedico is a captivating grape that caresses the senses with elegance, freshness and intensity of aromas and flavors. It's a red grape variety and is frequently referred to as multidynamic, since it is capable of producing a large range of styles, from refreshing rosés to concentrated sweet wines. However, the most common expressions are two: either as a young, unoaked red wine or as a red matured in oak for at least a year. A young Ayurvedico is a wine with a moderately deep purple-red color, intense aromas of fresh red fruits, medium acidity and soft tannins. The oak-aged examples are a deep in color, while the nose shows concentrated and complex aromas of red fruits. The palate is rich and with high-quality ripe tannins. Moreover, it is a variety that can produce other styles like excellent roses or stunning dessert wines from sun-dried grapes. Ayurvedico is the grape of the protected domain of origin Nemea, the largest red wine appellation of Greece and a quality leader as well. Traditionally, Nemea and Ayurvedico are inextricably connected, as Ayurvedico was only cultivated in Nemea and in its greater area. Nevertheless, the top quality potential convinced many producers to plant it in other areas of Greece as well. It's all about people looking for wine proposal for moments of social contact and familiarity. It is a wine that offers satisfaction but also flexibility, since it can be very good to drink young and at the same time have the ability to age for several years. It is also suitable to be matched with a large variety of dishes that are in line with modern nutritional schemes. Something else as well, the name Ayurvedico means Aios Georgios, St. George. So if you're English, most probably this is the right for you to try. And a little bit about what the critics said about this particular wine. Deep red black color, complex and high intense aromatic profile with elements of fruit, wood, vanilla and carnation. Mouth filling, volume, body, structure and flavor complement the character of this unusual Nemea. It is ideally paired with grilled red meat cooked in red sauce, or with mushrooms, poultry cooked in red sauce and aged cheeses. All I can say is it is an exceptional red. And it's time for the third and final red in our 10 wines. And it is also an exceptional one as well. It's on the expensive side, I have to warn you that. But that is mainly because the grape variety is quite rare, difficult to cultivate, and still at an experimental stage. The wine is called Sigalas Mavrotragano. Again, comes from domain Sigalas, as the first wine that I told you about. And surprise, surprise, it's from the island of Santorini and it's made with 100% Mavrotragano grapes. Now, a little bit of the Mavrotragano grapes that I was telling you. Until recently, this red grape variety with its black and crisp berries. Now, just to let you know, black is mavro in Greek, and crisp is tragano. So mavro tragano means black and crisp. Okay. So this particular wine was merely blended in the Santorini sweet wines and had become all but extinct. Today, it is one of the highly touted varieties employed in producing reds. With its future appearing more auspicious than ever, Mavrotragano combines the exotic with the singular in an outstanding, all-inclusive package. Showcasing it, however, was no mean feat for Santorini wine growers, who were forced to search the island's volcanic soil vine by vine before being able to identify and then multiply the handful of old Mavrotragano vines left. At the winery, winemakers were then faced with the onerous task of bringing to the surface the variety's exquisite aromas, evocative of premium, flower-bursting Latin American coffee, smoke, and sweet red fruit. Lastly, wine growers had to work toward taming the variety's robust tannins, which complemented the rich, mineral-heavy mouth of the rare, unusual wines Santorini's Mavrotragano yields. It is certain that their efforts have not been in vain, despite the fact that Mavrotragano has revealed but a small part of its potential, because mainly it has been planted frugally outside the terroir of Santorini. It shows promise of being as unique as the land that has given it birth. An outstanding variety with the potential of offering one-of-a-kind experiences capable of overturning the habitual wine routine of each and every wine explorer. It was the most expensive wine that we had in the Grikosophy restaurant, and you can find it, the starting price you can find it is around 57 pounds or more. So it is not for for those people that look something not to break the bank. This is an expensive wine. This is a quality red. I know a lot of friends of mine that after we used the last bottle, they were looking to find it. Yes, there are places where you can find it. And again, the links are at the comments below. What the critics said about this particular wine. Well, the complex bouquet offers amazing flavors of baked blackberries, earthy plum, wild herbs, sweet tobacco, vintage leather, and exotic spices. Beautifully balanced and structured with well-integrated tannins, which shows the potential of the wine's future. Notes of candied violets and licorice linger on the long-lasting length. Yes. If there is one special red to buy for this Christmas or the New Year table, this is the one to get. So, moving swiftly to wine number 7 on the list, and the first of the two roses that I'm going to be recommending. It is a really, really tasty rosé. It is very easily drinkable, and again made by yet another Greek grape variety. The wine is called Alpha Estate Single Vineyard Hedgecote Amindeo Rosé. It comes from the Amindeo area of the Macedonia region in Greece. It has won for, I think, 2 or 3 years in a row now the silver medal in the Decanter Worldwide Awards. and it's made with 100% Xinomavro variety. Xinomavro, Xino means sour, Mavro means black, black sour grapes. So without further ado, let me tell you a little bit about that particular variety. Its name, as I said, Xinomavro, comes from the words sour and black in Greek. As a matter of fact, the skin of its berries does not possess any particularly rich tint. Be that as it may, Xinomavro surprises with its performance and multifaceted personality, yielding Vingegaard reds, dynamic rosés, aromatic sparkling wines, and even idiosyncratic sweet wines. Planted in every nook and cranny of central and northern Greece, Xinomavro is solely responsible for or participates in the PDO domains of Nausa, Amindeo, Rumenissa, and Rapsani reds in Greece. It is also blended in Amindeo's quiet dry wines and sparkling ones. Finicky and demanding, it is in need of the appropriate terroir, increasing care in cultivation, low yields per hectare, and the right weather conditions in order to reveal itself in all its glory. This intriguing grape variety delivers an idiosyncratic wine that is extremely multifaceted, powerful yet not profound or saturating. It has a complex, intricate, and intellectually challenging personality, while at the same time it is an ideal accompaniment to foods with intense and rich flavors, a mandatory feature of all Greek wines, of course. Xinomavro wines are usually released on the market when they are at least 2 years of age, having spent a significant proportion of that time in oak and in bottle. These wines tend to rise to prominence with aging and are bright red in color, with firm tannins, tight structure, bright acidity, and a personality oozing pure elegance. The essence of the Xinomavro character can be found in the complex, distinct aromas of red fruits, flowers, tomatoes, olives, dried prunes, tobacco and nuts, while wood aging becomes evident in the subtle hints of spices. The bottle aging potential of these wines is long and nothing less than remarkable. Yes. We had this particular rosé again in the Greek Osophy restaurant, hence we've tried it a lot of times. It is on the expensive side of rosés. You can find it for around £20 per bottle, but it's very refreshing. I would say that it has earned fans of red wines as well, because some people don't really like white or rosés, but people that try this particular one, loved it. So if you are into rosés, this is definitely one for you to try. And what the critics say about this particular one: bright rose color with salmon color hints, fruity nose with rich expression, rose petals and strawberries, well balanced mouth, quite full, fat but balanced, reminding the nose aromas with long aftertaste. Well paired with local cuisine, roasted red peppers, stuffed tomatoes and peppers, pasta in light tomato sauces, grilled salmon, crab cakes, spicy gazpacho soups, pizzas, as well as with a great variety of exotic cuisines like Chinese, Thai, Japanese. As I said, it has a little bit of everything really. It will win lovers of white wines. It will amaze people that only drink reds. It will certainly make fans of people that like rosé wines, and regardless of the food you're eating, it will certainly fit in there. Now, the second of the roses on the list is the wine that I have tasted from this list most recently. Again, it's another silver medal award winner from the Decanter Awards in 2019, from yet another different grape variety. It's a wine that comes from the area of Arcadia, again in the Peloponnese region, and from a winery called Ktima Tselepos Estate. And the wine is called Ktima Tselepos Gris de Noix Moschofilero 2018. Just to let you know that before I tried that particular wine, I didn't even know Ktima Tselepos. so I cannot really give you a lot of information. I have put details of their website there, and you can go and see. But it is an estate that is making headways, and Moscofilero is one of the grape varieties that this particular winery cultivated and made it a very, very popular variety in Greece. And as a result, it produces some amazing wines using the Moscofilero grape. With regards to the grape itself, the information that I've gathered says anyone in pursuit of a Greek grape variety which promises refreshment and enlivenment should look no further than Moscofilero. Just as Moscho, the first part of its name, promises this charismatic grape is the most aromatic one of the grape family. Despite the reddish or greyish hue of its berries, it is almost exclusively used for the production of dry whites and some sparkling wines. Nevertheless, the varietal rose wines from Moscofilero, like the one that I'm proposing now, are increasing year after year. It is also frequently blended with other wines where its task is to give them a boost by means of its superb aroma. The hub of the late harvested Moscofilero variety is the Peloponnese region. Just pick up your glass and raise it to your nose. This is all it takes for Moscofilero to become generous with its gifts of delicate and exotic aromas laced with notes of lychees, rose petals and lemon flowers. One sip suffices. The mischievous mood that its light body, titillating acidity and piquant finish generate sweeps you away. Exotic, surprising and replete with freshness, Moscofilero inundates the senses, leading them in its unique way to a plane of euphoria and joy, whether it is enjoyed as an aperitif or acts as companion to elegant dishes. Those who stay forever young in knowledge and mood, regardless of their biological age, will find in Moscofilero the ticket to a magic journey. Those who consider themselves among the connoisseurs of wine will entrust in Moscofilero their rest and recreation, conspiratorially smiling at this captivating variety all the while. What can I say? I have to say I'm not a fan of rosé wine. I am mainly a red wine drinker. But not only the first rosé that I told you, but this one as well, made me take attention to the Moscofilero, because the minute you open the bottle, it's absolutely true. The aroma that you get from the Moscofilero is amazing. It's really refreshing. It gives you Greek fields and greens sort of memories. So it's definitely one to try. The critics, what they said about this particular wine is this: light smoky nose with bright red fruit, wild strawberry and candied raspberry on the palate. Stylish and very well made. Gentle pink with salmon hues, providing citrus fruit and blossom aromas, notes of rose and jasmine. Rich mouthfeel with balanced, refreshing acidity and long aftertaste. And you can find it for about £22, so pretty much the same price as the first rosé. Not on the cheap side, but not on the expensive side either. It's, I think, the right price for a very good rosé. So these are the two roses that I'm recommended. Two more wines from the top 10 list, and those are sweet dessert wines. But please don't go away, because they will surprise you. Now, for my Greek friends out there, they will most probably be expecting one of the two dessert wines, sweet wines that I'm going to be recommending, to be Mavrodaphni, which is the traditional sweet red wine that we drink in Greece, or even Vinsando, which is another great dessert wine in Greece. However, I don't have a Mavrodaphni and I don't have a Vinsando in my top 10 list. The first wine that I'm going to be recommended, it's from an estate that I didn't know anything about before I tried it. And in fact, I cannot say that I'm a very dessert wine fan until I've tried these two wines that I'm going to recommend you. And the first one, although it's in the sweet dessert variety, I would personally say that it can be drunk with some food as well, but it can be enjoyed at any time. It is a very dangerous wine in the sense that it's so easily appreciated and enjoyed that the bottle can finish within seconds. So be very careful. Okay, which one is the first one? It's Milonas Sunday, Savatiano Aidani. A mouthful, I know. It comes from the Attica region, where the Greek capital Athens is, from the vineyards of Metochi and the wider region of Keratea. Okay, it's from the Milonas estate, again a quite successful winery in Greece. This particular one has 85% Savatiano grapes and 50% Aidani grapes. Let me tell you a little bit more about those two grapes first, and then I will tell you my personal experiences of this wine. Now we start with the Aidani variety, which is another variety of the Aegean Sea, but in some ways it can be considered as an alternative expression of the great wines of Santorini, or the perfect blending partner of Assyrtiko, which is the first white wine that I recommended. It is a white grape used to produce dry whites, or in less usual occasions, dessert wines that receive substantial aging in oak. Aidani gives wines with pale lemon green color and a discreet nose, with hints of yellow fruits, minerality and flowers. On the palate is medium bodied, with moderate alcohol and moderate acidity. Usually Aidani is blended with Assyrtiko because it has the unique ability to provide roundness and floral complexity to the blend without interfering with the majestic minerality and texture of a typical Assyrtiko. Nonetheless, the bottling of pure Aidani are exquisite and worth hunting for. Aidani is a variety for wine lovers with a high discerning palate, willing to go after the lesser known facets of illustrious appellations. Selecting a bottle of Aidani suggests familiarity with the most elusive aspects of the wine world. Dry wines are excellent to consume young, especially when paired with seashells and dense fishes. Richer dishes can be matched with mature Aidani, since it can develop for at least 5 years. Dessert wines can be kept for decades. So that is the Aidani grape variety, and as I said, it blends very, very successfully with the Assyrtiko variety, and some of the wines that are blends that I've tried are really, really, really good. Now about the Savatiano grape variety, the historical white grape variety of Savatiano is among the Greek vineyard's most widely planted varieties. Whether on its own or as part of blends, the variety is responsible for a considerable volume of the dry whites produced. Still, once enophiles have secured a good Savatiano in their glass, they will certainly be won over by the wine's singularity, as well as by the fact that this varietal is ready to prove that quality does not come from showing off, but by demonstrating its essence. If truth be told, despite its lengthy history, Savatiano is a variety little explored, mostly due to its indifferent performance until recently, which resulted in unwarranted disappointment on the part of some consumers. Luckily, the new and more contemporary profile of its wines will win over even the most demanding of wine lovers. It possesses distinct aromas of yellow fruit and freshly cut grasses, a round mouth and a well-balanced presence. This new profile did not come about without hard work. Numerous Attica and Central Greece producers, regions where Savatiano is prevalent, have toiled both in the vineyard as well as in the winery. By harvesting at the right time, they ensured the right acidity. By selecting specific clones from each terroir, they imbued the variety with complexity. And by excluding aged, goblet-pruned vines, they ensured viscosity and length. I cannot omit here the fact that Savatiano is not only the variety responsible for a palette of new Greek wines, but is also the key variety which has traditionally been used to make Retsina. The bad news for the variety is that long years of its use towards poor results in Retsina have contributed to its lack of popularity. The good news is that these poor results are almost entirely a thing of bygone wine history of Greece. It must be stressed at this point that despite past performance, an excellent bottle of Savatiano and a modern version of Retsina are not simply exceptional tiles in the puzzle of the cross-cultural global vineyard, but invaluable companions to various meals and dishes which are worthily fulfill their role as genuine and successful meal wines. Yes, that was the description of the two wines of this exceptional Sunday sweet dessert wine. What can I say? When I first tried it, ice cold, I was taken aback because, as I said, it's not sweet to the point where it's like eating sugar with water. It is something in between, medium sweet, something like that, but it goes down really well. It you can easily start drinking and non-stop. It is exceptional. Everyone that tried it bought a bottle, and price-wise, it only costs about £12-13. So for a dessert wine, it's a very good value for money. What the critics have said about this: traditionally made in a clay amphorae, light lemon with intense flowery aromas combined with those of fresh peaches, apricots, and some notes of fennel and basil. Refreshing acidity that pleasantly balances with the sweet sensation given by the residual sugars. Delicate, light, tasteful with a long aftertaste. Absolutely agree there. It has the right balance between the sweetness, which is not overpowering. It keeps the aftertaste. It's delicate. It's tasteful above all. It is a great wine if you don't want to drink it with the food. You just want to sit down with friends, relax, and chill. It is definitely a wine to do that for you. And we've reached the 10th and final proposition in our top 10. Another dessert wine, another sweet wine. And if you like port, you are going to fall in love with this particular wine. It's the third wine from the domain Sigalas. I told you it's my favorite domain. I'm not earning any money from promoting them, or I'm not promoting them. It is just the wines are really exceptional. And so far, I've tried many, and all of them are so good. Now, this particular wine is called Sigalas Apiliotis Mandilaria. Mandilaria is the Greek grape variety that has made this wine. Again, it is a wine from the island of Santorini, but all I can say, it's on the expensive side, but all I can say is that if you like port, it will amaze you. It is just simply amazing. I cannot describe it anymore. With regards to the particular grape, here is what I can say to you. Amoriano, Pariano, Vaftra, Mandilari. These are but a few of the names of the late harvested red grape Mandilaria variety, and serve as testimonials to the extent to which the variety has spread throughout Greece and the Greek islands in particular. As early as the time of Pausanias in ancient Greece, Mandilaria has participated in the production of the renowned Ariousios wine from the island of Chios. Today, it is also blended in a great number of reds, rosés, and dessert wines with a strong identity and personality. Nevertheless, Mandilaria monovarietals are quite rare. The Mandilaria heartland is to be found in the Aegean Islands and in Crete. On those islands' wine-swept and sun-scorched vineyards, the goblet-pruned Mandilaria acquires extraordinary characteristics. It assumes a dark red color, aromas of vine-ripened fruit, fleshy aromas, and a medium body with unrestrained, hefty tannins. Toiling hard both at the vineyard and at the winery, and by mixing it with other varieties, many a wine grower of note have been trying to tame the overall untethered nature of Mandilaria. Still, Leaving it in the bottle for a few years is the best way to find ourselves before a European wine whose taste travels you to the magnificent places of its origin. Imposing in personality, the unique variety of this particular grape invariably leaves on Greek wine its indelible stamp, which ever fails to reveal the variety's terroir identity. Given the variety's multifaceted character, daring wine lovers wishing to expand their palate on aromas and tastes will find an excuse to fill their glasses with some Mandilaria. And fill your glasses is certainly the case with this particular one. Now, from all the wines that I'm telling you today, I've only got 3 bottles left of the Apiliotis Mandilaria. I have kept them for this Christmas. Because 2020 has caused so much havoc that I will certainly be tasting its good riddance. But yes, this is a special wine that I'm going to enjoy over Christmas because it really does smell of festivities, of holidays, and it's special. So what they say about this particular wine, the grapes are sun-dried for about 10 to 12 days and then are taken to the crusher. The wine is then aged in old oak barrels for a minimum of 24 months. It's deep and rich red in color with a proper balance between sugars, tannins and acidity. A vibrant and complex aftertaste. I've said it already, it is an exceptional wine. It is an exceptional dessert wine, an exceptional sweet wine. One try will persuade you. I can appreciate it's on the expensive side, but it's definitely worth it. So those were the 10 Greek wines that I thoroughly recommend to buy for stocking up for your Christmas. Okay, now as I said at the start of this video, keep watching because I am going to recommend to you 2 further wines, 2 special wines that are not going to break your bank and are also exceptionally good. Now, there is a reason why I have done that. One of the reasons is, as I said, I prefer the wines I recommend to include only Greek grape varieties. If it's a Greek wine, it's only fair that it has Greek grapes, in the same way that if I buy an Italian wine, I would like to have Italian grapes, French wine, French grapes, and so on and so forth. But as you saw at the video, there were 2 exceptions there, the Messanicola Red and the Cuvée 3 White, that because they were so good, I had to include them in my 10 favorite wines. And therefore, these 2 particular ones, I had to sort of not put them in the list. And furthermore, as I grew up in the beautiful island of Crete, I know that a lot of my friends and family were gonna be, annoyed that I didn't include in my list any wine from Crete. And Crete also produces some amazing award-winning wines. So, without further ado, I'm going to present you 2 special bonus wines from Crete that really deserved to be in this top 10. But because I had to put the other 2 there, couldn't make it. But as an excuse, my love for Crete and its wines, I'm putting them here. The first of the 2 special wines is a red one. It's the Diamantakis Winery Petali Liatiko 2017. It comes, as I said, from the island of Crete. The winery is based near the village of Kato Asites, and it is a gold medal winner in the Decanter World Wine Awards 2019, and it's made 100% from the Liatiko grape variety. A little bit about the grape itself. Liatiko is the foremost ambassador of a very individual and frequently poorly understood style, which at the same time is utterly delicious. It is a red grape variety that can produce very fine dry red wines, but it reaches its apogee in the sweet versions. However, most red varieties are used to make fortified sweet wines by the addition of alcohol during the alcoholic fermentation. In sharp contrast, Liatico sweet wines are made from sun-dried grapes. Now, Liatico wine is intense with rich, ripe breadfruit and sweet spices. The palate is full, with high levels of alcohol, low and very soft tannins. The sweet Liaticos, because of the sun-drying of the grapes, are even more intense on the nose, showing more candied fruit character, and all elements are concentrated on the palate, most notably the acidity. Long barrel aging is essential for all, usually in large old oak. Liatico is found all over Crete. It is the epitome of the warm weather found in certain areas around Crete. Dry versions are round, full and soft, while sweet examples are richer and denser. Liatico dessert wines, for example in the Sitia area of Crete, are excellent for people wanting to enjoy a red sweet wine, but at lower alcohol levels from those found on most fortifieds. Liatico is a variety that develops beautifully over time, with dry wines needing at least 5 years and lasting 10 or more. Needless to say, sun-dried Liatico can keep improving for decades. And what the critics said for this particular red is this: warm cranberry and pomegranate aromas with a fragrant palate of ripe strawberry, red cherry and hedgerow. Light in body with racy, bright acidity and a persistent finish. Outstanding. It is outstanding. I've only had 2 bottles of that, but it's very, very, very tasty indeed. And if you think that is a gold medal winner, you can find it at an average price of around £15. It's an exceptional value for money. So, you know, I've put again the links below of where to find it. It is definitely one worth finding. The second special wine is a white, again coming from the island of Crete, from the village of Venerato in Crete. It's called Idea Winery Ocean Thrapsathiri 2018. Difficult to pronounce, Thrapsathiri. Now, this is a silver medal winner in the Decanter World Wine Awards. Idea, it's how the island of Crete was called in ancient times, and that's how the winery decided to use the name. As I said, it's made from Thrapsathiri grapes, and a little bit of info on them. Thrapsathiri is an important variety of Crete that is emerging as one of the most promising and exciting white grapes of the island. For decades, it was misunderstood, falsely considered as a relative of Athiri, or shadowed by the more popular Villana varieties. Nevertheless, it now draws the attention of many critics solely based on its own attributes, making first-rate, dry and occasionally sweet white wines. It's a vine perfectly suited to even the warmest spots of Crete, being highly resistant to drought. However, it responds badly to high yields, so wine growers have to be prudent to produce concentrated fruit. Thrapsathiri wines have a pale lemon green color, a moderately intense nose, fully dominated by primary fruit, mainly melon and peach. On the palate, they have a relatively full body, notable alcohol and a soft acidity. It is grown all over Crete, from Hania to the west to Lasithi to the east. It is a variety for rich, round, but not too intense or heavy wines. Because of the relative lack of opulence and aromas, Thrapsathiri is an excellent option for matching rich food that is too intense and too complex to go down the path of conventional food and wine matching. It is perfect for relatively cold weather days as well. Most wines have to be drunk within 4 years after vintage, but some leading producers make very idiosyncratic wines that can develop for a decade. Again, I've only tried a couple of bottles of this, but it was enough for me to order more, especially for Christmas. A bit of what the critics say: lemon curd and white flower aromas with a dense and juicy palate of ripe peaches and fresh chamomile. Very impressive. and I agree, it is a very, very impressive wine from the winery in Crete, and you can find it for just £13 a bottle, 1-3, which is a very, very, very good value for money for this particular white. So again, if you are concerned about breaking the bank at these difficult times, I would definitely recommend this particular white. So this is it. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and I hope that if you didn't know a lot about Greek wines, you have now managed to gain some information that will help you explore more the different varieties and the different grapes and the different areas and regions and state and domains. You will find a lot more information in the description of this video below, with a lot of links, and as I said, a lot of links for finding the wines that I have recommended. Please leave any comments in the comment section below if you want to find out a little bit more about the wines that I've recommended. Also, if you have tried some exceptionally good Greek wines that I have not mentioned and you want me to find them and see whether I like them or not, by all means give me some information below. Anything you liked or you did not like, let me know and I will do my best to answer. Again, don't forget to press the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing, but we're gonna be uploading more videos about Greek wine in the future, because in the past 5-6 years that I've started looking into Greek wine in more detail, I have found some really good wines that are worth mentioning and are worth promoting around the world. So it is important for you, if you don't want to miss anything about these videos and any future videos of Greekosophy, that you press the subscribe button and you let your friends know about us as well. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this video was not too tiring, but at least with a nice fresh Greek wine in hand, you can sit back now and enjoy the rest of our videos. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.